Hey guys, how's everyone doing? All right, welcome to possibly the most awaited masterclass session this season. Hey guys, nice to see you. Hope everyone is being safe during the pandemic. Hey Yasin, how are you doing? Hey Rakshit, how's it going? Sangeeta, nice to see you. Hey Puneet, nice to see you. Hey Sahana, hi Shika, nice to see you. All right. Psycho Rider Abhi, nice to see you as well. All right, Rakshit, nice to see you guys. Yep. We'll just wait for a few more minutes till everybody jumps into the session. Okay, everybody's asking the most important question, the $1 million question. Where is KP? KP is going to be with us. In the meantime, let me welcome you to TVS Racing and Apache Presents Masterclass Season 2. The whole idea of this series is to interact with successful riders and people in the automotive space who teach us a little bit about what they do. And in this process, we also learn a lot. And this is somebody I think everybody has been waiting to have him on since we started Masterclass. And that is, of course, Aravind KP. He's going to be joining us in just a minute. So who's excited to finally connect with KP right after what happened with Bigg Boss? Drop us some likes and let us know. So to give you guys a quick idea of what the format is going to be, we're going to be speaking with KP, digging through a little bit about what his journey has been over the last 1 year for about 20 to 30 minutes. And after that, we'll open up the questions to you, the audience. So if you guys have any questions for him, you can directly ask him, and I'm sure he'll be very happy to answer. So without further ado, let me add KP and. All right, nice to see you guys. Hope you all been safe. A couple of likes for him, guys. Come on. All right, there we go.
Hey, what's up, man?
How are you, dude?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Good. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. Last year, when we did this session, you were focusing on recovering from an injury, and then suddenly all of this has happened. So I don't even know if "how are you doing" is the right question. But how are you doing? What's been happening in the last couple of months?
Oh, last couple of months, like you've all known, it's been quite busy and hectic, mentally and physically as well. But
Yeah.
it's been a good journey. I got an opportunity to reach out to lakhs and crores of people, and do my part on giving it back to the sport as well. So yeah, this has been a couple of months for me now.
Yeah, I mean, last year as well, when we were talking about the whole lockdown and how you've also missed a little bit of racing as well, recovering from your injury. Uh, like it's amazing like how this 1 year and nobody would have thought of something like this happening and how it's kind of changed the whole dynamic. One is obviously for you as well, but it's brought a lot of visibility to our sport. So I mean, I don't even know where to begin, and I have to be very honest. This is the first time I'm very nervous. I don't ask any wrong questions. um, but let's start with starting last year when you were focusing on recovering. How did this Bigg Boss thing happen?
Oh, to go back to that, I think the first lockdown. I mean, not the 2021, but the 2020 lockdown. I was just about to. I mean, probably I just started walking, and I was slowly getting back into going into the gym and doing some weights and all of that. But then, because the situation was so serious, I did not move back from Udupi. I stayed back home with my parents, and I was just focusing on spending some time with my parents, because it's been about 7 years that I spent more than a month, more than a few weeks at home. So that's how it was. And 2021 Jan was when I got back to Bangalore, and I got back on the bike after maybe a complete 1.5 year rest, and maybe like a month I rode every day. I was just trying, just probably breaking in into getting back into riding shape. But from nowhere this Bigg Boss happened, and since the racing scenes and many other things were very uncertain, and only Bigg Boss was certain, I kind of took up this challenge, and here we are. It's been great, and yeah, I'm surprised myself, man.
I mean, that's the least you can say. But to kind of just dial back a little bit for the audience as well. Of course, we all know your story and it's been widely talked about. But just like as a brief for people who are sort of also new here, how did racing start for you?
Back in 2004, maybe is when 2004. Yeah, 2003 is when I got my first bike. It came with a challenge that if I scored 80% in my PU, my dad would get me a bike, and that's how my journey started. I scored more than 80%. I got my first bike, but my introduction to racing happened when I was a younger kid. On ESPN, they would show Dakar, and they would show Supercross and Motocross, world destinations, and all of that. So I always had this fantasy of, fantasy about me riding, me being able to ride on the mountains and all of that. Initial days, you're young, dumb, and full of energy. So I got my bike. I was going crazy on the streets, and one mechanic of mine was like, "Dude, you got to preserve yourself. If you really think you got speed and you can do something out of your will, there is something called a dirt track which happens. You should try and at that, and see as to where you can go and how you can take it forward." And that is how my journey began as a privateer in Mangalore back in 2005. I rode a few local races here and there in South Canada and around Bangalore. Not in Bangalore actually. South Canada, Chikmagalur, Shivamogga, and so on. And it so happened that in one of the local races, I met an track rider, and he was the one who actually put some sense in my head, saying, "Dude, you've got speed, you've got age, and what you have to do is preserve yourself. Don't spend more time on racing locally. Cut this out. Train well, and go take part in a national championship first round." So, and if I was able to go and do well and probably break into the championship leading points, it would be a sure shot that TVS would pick me out. And that is how I started concentrating on training for the upcoming year, upcoming calendar. And it so happened that fortunately, Golf Dirt Track National Championship happened in Bangalore. And I finished ahead of TVS Racing in few races, and from there, it's been history, bro.
That's insane. I mean, what is it about Mangalore that has a sort of a culture? We were talking to Samuel as well a couple of weeks ago. There's something special about Mangalore where we have a great motorsports culture in Mangalore. What do you think it is about Mangalore that sort of has this sort of interest going on there?
See, from what I know, and as per my knowledge, in the early 70s and towards the late 80s, racing culture was really at its peak. We have this famous thing called Tamla also, which is like the ox. They race with the ox. So this racing culture has been in the blood, and we had big star riders coming out from South Canada and Mangalore and Udupi and so on. So I think that kind of embedded, it's kind of embedded in the local culture as to go fast on the bikes. And since it's a hilly area, and the atmosphere, like the rains and going across in the estates and all of that is quite challenging. I think riding on difficult terrains kind of comes easy for us, and I think it's just the salt, bro.
It's just the salt. We have a lot of comments coming in right now about asking us to speak in Kannada. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ patience ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಿ, because we have everybody from all over the country, and of course I'm sure Aravind will oblige a little later to give you some answers in Kannada. But now moving forward, with this whole Bigg Boss thing that happened, And you made it really far as well. I mean, you were a finalist. What do you think racing taught you about actually, like, how whatever you learned from racing, how do you think that applied to your journey with Bigg Boss?
Oh, patience and focus and determination and never give up attitude. Come what may, you should never think that you'll lose. And even if you lose, it's not the end of the world, and you always, move on with it, and then study from it, learn from it, see what went wrong, and never do that mistake again. And
I mean, that's a really great answer. But what do you think this whole experience maybe has taught you that you could possibly take back to racing?
probably, more patience from this. I think I will take back to racing and more glamour.
More glamour. I mean, this has also proved, like, I think a lot of your personality, your skill and talent really came through the show. And a lot of people instantly connected with that. Uh, what do you think we can do more back with what we do with racing generally when it comes to promotions? Because it's something that everybody instantly connects with, right? And also, you also were in Bangalore days. What do you think we can actually take back more from the racing world to kind of maybe apply from this experience?
From the racing world, I think we have to kind of create more stuff for common people, because certain things that we do is more professional, right? So that's why I think there's a little bit of disconnection, where people cannot connect to the level what they really want to. But when things are a little more easier, and when it is possible for every common man to do what I do, I think there definitely will be more connection towards it.
I'm sorry, your voice is a little low. Do you think you can come to the camera a little closer?
Just a second, let me just increase the volume. Okay, is
Yeah.
it any better at all? No.
Yeah, this is better.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, could you just repeat that again?
Okay. See, I think there's a lot more connection than when I started to where we stand right now. But to improve it, I think we should get into more activities where any common man can just get on the bike and do it, with no stress or no practice, no prior practice. Because what happens is what we do as professionals takes a lot of back end training, and a certain kind of lifestyle, a certain kind of bike time, a certain kind of training that you have to do. So that's why I think there is this gap. People can't really connect to it. But like I said, more activities where anybody and everybody can come and be a part of it will definitely bridge this gap, and have more traction towards it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. On that note, well, let's talk about your journey so far with TBS as well. If you can maybe just explain to the audience a little bit of how you got picked up as a professional racer, and how being part of the factory team has also helped your journey grow.
Yeah. So like you all know, firstly I was a privateer rider, and making it this far as a privateer would not have been possible if not for being picked up by TVS Racing back in the year 2006. Like I said, I was leading the championship rounds in the Gulf Dirt Track National Championship, and they really saw the potential in me as to being a prospective champion in the future, and that's when they picked me up in 2006. And it's been a wonderful journey with them, man. There is so much that I can talk. Probably this 30 minutes is not going to be enough, but from local to global, it was possible only because of TVS. Because earlier my dreams were smaller, and as I realized a smaller dream, my dreams got bigger, and then that's how, as and when my dreams were conquered. I had bigger dreams, and I even had the support from TVS to pursue it, and from them that I could realize it. So it's been a great journey with them since 2006. I've had great ups, and I've had uh, greater downs, and it is in your greater downs that TVS has really proven that they are what they are. And they backed me up when I was in a state where I couldn't even walk. They believed in my capacity. They believed in my talent. I've signed, to be very honest, I've signed contracts right after the surgery in the hospitals. So that's the kind of belief that they've had on me. That's the kind of support I've gotten. And we both have a common dream of doing as many as races possible, and doing great in the World Championship as well, and doing great in Dakar, and doing great in whatever form of racing that we get into, and how many ever races possible.
Yeah, really well said. And on that note as well, you along with CS and the other guys as well, were sort of like the first generation of racers who essentially established a career path for new talent. And in fact, starting from this month, there's a new championship that TVS has introduced, the RR 200 Cup, specifically for kids between 13 to 19. So on that note, what is your view of the new talent we're seeing coming into the pool right now?
See, to be very honest, TVS is doing a great job doing whatever they are doing currently. And the program that they have in mind, and the program that they're introducing this year, is going to lay a great platform for actual talent, for them to not just race in India and to break into world championships. Because when you start young is when you can do great things here. To give you a brief example, Glenn, do you really think when you walk? Do you
Do I
think when
really
you
think when
walk?
I walk? I don't think
Yeah.
when I walk.
Do you think when you trip, it just happens
No.
naturally, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
the reflex is natural. The walking, the vision, everything is natural, right? So that is what that is how you inculcate riding in younger generation. So when they start really young, it becomes like walking and running. They don't really have to think as to, oh, do I have to come down here? Do I have to lean now? Is it enough? Or that's how you build. And I'm sure when TVS is coming up with the program that they are, we, with so much of people and so much of talent in India, are definitely going to have talent who are going to break into MotoGP, who are going to break into World Championships and greater things, man.
Yeah, really well said. I mean, and also we're seeing even in just the last decade, the new riders will come, guys like Harit, who also had a top 20 finish in Dakar. And it's really thanks to you and guys from your batch, so as to say, who really did the grunt work and kind of opened up this career for a lot more people. So what would be your general advice for folks who kind of want to get into the sport now?
Start young, get professional help. There are many facilities like academies who are training who are willing and open to train new talents, and give them a right direction towards how racing efficiently is. Because if you try and practice on your own, or you try and get unprofessional help, it's only going to take time. And it's not a sport where if you make an error, it is going to forgive you. It's an unforgiving sport. So what you have to do is you have to have a healthy training program. You have to have healthy people around you with good mindset, good speculation as to where you're going, and everything has to be recorded. And try and break into programs like how TVS is coming up with, because that is going to make your life a lot easier than anything else, because TVS already knows what direction they have to go to and what direction they want. And they've been racing for the past 37 years, man. So just being a part of a team like this is going to change the whole direction of racing any kid can ever dream of.
Really well said. And guys, we just have about 2, 3 more questions before we open this up for you, the audience, where you can directly ask Aravind KP pretty much anything. So my next question for you then is on this note itself. What is next for you? What does 2021 kind of look like?
2021 is half done already, and I've not had any hitting by time. So the closest thing that I have in my head is to get back on the bike and do as much as riding as possible, and then I'm yet to have a meeting with VSAC. So, we'll have to sit and think as to what races that we are going to do, and how are we going to make the best of this year, and also the coming year. Hopefully, things are better and better with COVID as well, because I'll have to go to Europe and try and train, put some bike time, because as you all know, US is always known for putting out good performance. So if I have to make justice, I need to have really good bike time on as well. So that is what is the new. Definitely, everyone's going to see me back on the bike soon.
That's awesome. Like in this time, have you been able to kind of put in any saddle time? I mean, I'm sure your schedule must have been crazy up until now.
No, man, no, absolutely no saddle time. My bike has never been this clean ever in so many years. The bike is sparkling clean. So, and since probably when I got out from the Bigg Boss house the first time, it was still lockdown, so I couldn't really go out there and ride, since there was protocols that we had to follow, and I couldn't go there. But probably in a couple of weeks, I should be back on the saddle and burning some rubber for sure.
Would you be considering doing like maybe the Mangalore round just as a exhibition, just to kind of take part for the heck of it?
Could you please come back again with the same question, because you broke up in between?
Sure. So this rally season we have Mangalore on the cards, and would you consider kind of just taking part just as an exhibition for the heck of it?
Oh, definitely, man. I would probably do the recce. Probably a couple of years ago, also I did the same thing, because I had a flight to Morocco the next day. So I came, did the recce, and took the flight next day to Morocco. But I don't know the dates yet. But if it is very close, I'm sure I'm going to go hit the saddle, do some riding, and definitely showcase what I'm capable of on the bike for the people around, and probably relive my INR times.
That's amazing, dude. All right, guys, we'll take a couple of questions now. So I'll start off. We had a question from Chinmay who says, "Hey, I'm 15. Is it a good time to start racing?"
For sure, man. You are still 9 years, not 9 years, probably 6 years earlier than me. So 15 is a good time to start. I started when I was 19. But yeah, like we spoke earlier, if you have the right kind of supervision, you have the right kind of safety gear and the right kind of equipment, it's a very good time to start, for sure.
We have a very interesting question from someone called Just Thought.
Okay.
Like you, I mean, I remember once when we were talking a couple of years ago, you were on the path of becoming a chartered accountant. Then you picked up rallying, and now you've always been a celebrity, but obviously now the whole world sees what a great personality you are. So, Just Thought's question is, how supportive have your parents been through all of this?
Initially, my parents had no clue that I was racing. Not until my pictures and my name appeared in the paper did my parents know that I was racing, So it was really hush hush. And since I was living in Mangalore and my parents were living in Udupi, it was easy for me to hide from them and race. But little did I know it would come in the papers. But then after that, initially they were okay, but until I got hurt, The minute I got hurt, they were like, okay, now it's time. Now it's time for you to. Since I was academically good as well, they would always pressurize me to come out of it and pursue my studies and do well there and blah blah blah. But it was tough initially, but for a few years for sure it was really really tough. But then over a period of time, they kind of understood that this is the only thing that I love to do, and this was the only thing I would always do, and it would be very hard for them to make me not do it. And that's when their perspective towards it changed, and they've been supportive ever since.
That's really good to hear. We have a question from Sri Veda. says, please start a YouTube vlog. We would love to watch you every day and witness your hard work. I'll just kind of expand on that question a little bit. With our kind of mindset sometimes that we have, like what happened with the Olympics this time as well with Neeraj. It's great that he won gold and all of that, but there's a lot of hard work, years and years of effort that go on behind the scenes. And maybe to some degree as athletes, you need to be talking about that part a little bit more. So do you have any thoughts on that front? Maybe starting like a YouTube channel, being a little bit more open about your training and all of that?
Yes, definitely. Since I'm in the sport, and people in India probably have no clue as to what actually it takes to be racing at the level that we are. This is going to be my first input towards racing. That I would definitely be giving vlogs about how fitness is important and how we train and what are the kind of programs that we do. See, again, it's not going to be customized towards one person because everyone is different. And you are different. What is not going to work for you? What works for you is not going to work. But then there are certain secrets that we've broken in to that there is a certain program that we follow to get to a level of success. And then after that, fine tuning is depending on what is going to work for you, right? But definitely there is this is my idea as well, that I'm going to throw some light into the behind the scenes, how much of work my crew does, how much work my team does, how much organizing my manager does, how much of work my trainer does, how much time do I spend on the bike, how I deal with injuries, how do I come back, what kind of physiotherapy I do to have a normal life. Yeah, on all regards. This is the idea. We're definitely coming up with blogs for sure.
Great. That's really great to hear. That was actually something I wanted to ask you personally, but it's good that people are also asking the same. I'm seeing a lot of accounts by the name of Aravind KP. So we
Yeah.
have uh, we have we have two questions from two separate Aravind KP accounts. One's a quite interesting question saying, would you ever consider superbike racing? I mean, you started off with Supercross, worked your way into rally, and then made your way all the way up to Dakar. But is that something just for fun that you might consider?
Oh, definitely. Superbikes, yeah, I would only take a chance of riding a superbike in the track because otherwise it's really demanding on the street because, a very well set up superbike can do over 200 on its first gear. So, definitely if there comes a day and I'm at the track and if there is a superbike which I can ride, I definitely am going to swing that bike over the track and have some good time.
Okay. Um, so this is an interesting question from Pradeep. Can you throw some light on package that riders get so that one gets support from their parents? I guess what he's trying to answer is when it comes to like finances, what would
Yes.
be like realistically a good part to kind of make this work as a career?
See, for you to get into a place where you are picked up by a factory team, there's a lot of expense that you have to do yourself. But now in India, I think there is a lot more involvement of many brands. Not just manufacturers. For you to have them as co-sponsors, to train and probably do some national events, it's not cheap and it's not easy, but it's doable for sure. If I rode and made my way to having a factory ride myself without my parents knowing about it, I think anybody can do it. It's just about how badly you want to get there. It takes really smart planning. Don't waste your money into some nonsense. You got to focus. You got to know what to spend on, what not to spend on, and be consistent in your training and events as well. Some people get it done faster. Some people get it done slower. So do not compare yourself with anybody, and keep your focus on, and you have to be determined.
That's amazing. That's the perfect answer. With that, I think we'll also end the session for today. So, firstly, thank you so much for taking time off. Like a lot of people are also commenting, this is your first interview after the Bigg Boss finale. I mean, it's amazing. Like what you also said, not to compare yourself to others. You've carved your own path in everything that you've done. You've carved your own path, found your own way, and the world finally sees the star we always saw all this while. So it's so great. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience before you go?
I would definitely want to address my Kannada speaking people as well for a minute. Because if I made it to if I made it this far, and if there are so many people who are wanting to be a part of this, it's only because of that. So let me just take 2 minutes out of your time, and then ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ. ಈ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಬೇಜಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡುವವರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಭಾಷೆ ಮಾತಾಡುವವರು ಈ ರೇಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ನಾವು ಈ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿರುವುದು. ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಬೇಜಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. ಹಾಗೂ ನೀವು ನಂಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿದಂತ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಅಪಾರವಾದ್ದು, ಅದು ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಮರೆಯಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವೇ ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಕಾರಣ. ಹಾಗೂ ಇವರು ಗ್ಲೆನ್ ಅವರು ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಅರವಿಂದ್ KP ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನನ್ನ ಫೋಟೋನೇ ನನಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಸದಾ ಇರ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸೇಫ್ ಆಗಿರಿ. ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಆದ ಕಾರಣ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಏನೇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೋಕಾಲ್ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವಿಚಾರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಮನಸ್ತಾಪಗಳು ಬೇಡ. ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿರಿ. ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಇರ್ಲಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಕೋಟಿ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Aravind, for your time. And feel free to log off, man. I'll see you soon.
Yes, thank you, man. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. See you. Bye-bye. All right. All right. What an amazing session. Take care.